Okay, here we are. UK turn 2. So Germany took their second turn. Over here you can see their purchase was 7 infantry, 2 artilleries, and a bomber. At first when he bought the bomber, I was a little worried that that was going to prevent me from dropping my Atlantic fleet. But as you can see, he actually moved his fighters in with his German stack-to-stack Belarusia. I do think that was a mistake. He's got 19 units there without the fighters, and I had 11, 3, 2, 16 units attacking him. So he would have been perfectly safe without the fighters there. He could have left him here, still been threatening West Russia. The fighters here really don't give him any added benefit. Had they been here, he had 5 fighters and a bomber. I would have been a little bit more worried about dropping my 2 destroyer carrier Atlantic fleet. Now, not only do I get to drop a fleet, I can do it with just buying a single carrier, and I'm going to bring this fighter on up, and I'm going to go ahead and build a second fighter because I'm going to be hoping to get these fighters into West Russia. Probably not. We'll see. I mean, he's got 10 more coming in next turn, plus what he builds, so we'll see if he can still hold West Russia one more turn or not, but we'll see. In any case, so I am going to go ahead and drop that fleet, but instead of buying a carrier and a destroyer, I'm just going to buy a carrier. And like I said, I want to go ahead and get some air that I can start getting ready to fly into Russia to help them out. So I get them. That leaves me 8, which I was planning to buy a destroyer with. I'm going to go ahead and help down here, start getting some India ground. So if he does take Moscow, his next approach is going to be coming down towards India and Africa. And I am light on ground units down here because of the fleet drop. So we'll start getting some down here. I'm going to go ahead and get some artillery. We're going to be on the offensive side. And we're going to go from there. Now, interesting enough, I could take something here and attack Southern Europe or even attack into Ukraine with them. But, of course, that's just wasting the transport. There's really no benefit that I foresee on that. But that being said, I am going to come up here. I'm only going to take one of them, just because the sea lion threat is still on the board. I'd love to take 2 and just make them trade a little bit higher, but the reality is sea lion threat's still on there. I just want to get the value out of there for right now. Make sure. Okay, I did my blitz there. We got that one. Those are my 2 main, point attacks. And then, like I said, I'm gonna attack here. And I'm going to send everything in there. So I got 7 units going in there against his 5. I could send the carrier too, basically as a hit point. They're not, very going to be rolling on 1. But when I do this, if I sent my carrier, then my fighters going 1, 2, they'd have to come back and land in. And I guess I could land them back in here. But I like the idea of potentially bringing the fighters back to the carrier, and still having a small UK fleet to help stack in a little bit. And I don't need it. I've got odds right now on this battle, so I'm going to take it as is. And if successful, then his 2 fighters here, maybe these fighters end up landing depending on what happens in the battle. But 1, 2, 3, they can't hit me, and I'm safe there. This bomber's way over here. He can't hit that India water, so I'm pretty safe. So that's what we're gonna go for. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that, I think. Alright. This is where the calculator and I don't necessarily agree. It thinks it's unlikely. I had 70-some% odds. Even as long as I get to that carrier, even if the battleship survives, it's still going to be a pretty big win for me, regardless, for that heavy trading that I was talking about. Gonna bring him back. Bring him over. Him up. Let's see. Get him back. Bring him back. Okay, said we can bring these 2 fighters, and now they too can go 1, 2, 3, 4 into West Russia and Moscow next turn, or this carrier, cruiser, and actually, you know what? I believe we can be a little more aggressive with them. Let's see here. Yeah. Cruiser on up. Sub will work on up there to safe zones he can't touch, but who knows, maybe that'll... Here's my all-in decisiveness. I should have thought more before making my move. But again, I talked about how, you know, I might start moving him over here to start dead zoning the Mediterranean, just an early start. So my bomber, obviously I can't really land him here when he's got this kill box getting ready to come in. So that's not good. Let's see. Just double checking, making sure there's no transports can, well, they come down here and hit those guys. I really wasn't actually expecting the bomber to live, to be perfectly honest. Let's see, that gave me guys. You could have 4, 7, 8 guys plus fighters and a battleship. I think we're just gonna have to let that risk that bomber out there. Wasn't planning on him. I can bring him back here. 1, 2, 3, 4. He can't land anywhere, so this transport can start working his way back. Got that transport back. Alright, and that'll be it for the UK2. I'm going to place the fleet. Oh, here we go. I'm going to drop the fleet back here. Some artillery there, and that'll be the end of UK2. Alright, here we are for US2. So, Japan 2 is a purchase. He did buy a complex as well as some ground and a submarine. I know some people will say he bought a complex and a KJF. I actually think that was a smart move. I think that was the right thing. I think it's kind of evident that he's losing the Navy battle here. This is going to allow him to build units on land, as well as he's going to have to shuck going on 4 units at a time. So he's going to be putting a lot of ground on before I could get there. I actually considered about moving my combined US fleet over here to 58 because he can't destroy it, and then I did the calculations and it would be enough to push him out of these zones. But what that's going to do is he could simply buy a destroyer to put in 60, move this destroyer up to 63, and, you know, buy a carrier to land his planes on so they're protected from the air, and he can do another shuck there for yet another turn. And what that does is that would block me from being able to get down to Philly on turn 3. Whereas right now, if I do the traditional come down to Solomon's, right now, there's nothing he can do to block me from taking Borneo or Philly. With the UK coming over here to support, it's going to be a stack. And I really want to just go ahead and get these islands, get their income cutting down, and start getting the factories up here and producing. So this is going to be a pain. This is going to, he's got quite a bit of forces, ground forces on the ground here. If he starts moving these in towards Russia, that's going to make holding out to round 7 just that wee bit harder. They're already starting to feel a little bit of heat, so hopefully we can hold it off, and let's see how it goes. So for my purchase, a lot of times I will have this 40 IPC, and I got my 2 transports coming up from the East Coast. A lot of times I actually will buy 5 destroyers here, because more often than not there's still 4, 5, 6 fighters flying around, and they can do this little hit on this, you know, back wave of destroyers moving. At this point he's just got the 2 fighters and a bomber, so I'm actually going to just build 4, and I'm going to go ahead and build another transport early, because we're going to need, you know, 2 transports for DEI, 2 transports for Borneo, and at least 1 transport, if not 2 transports for Philly, to be landing units onto the southeast when it comes to it. So, you know, that's 2, 4, 5, maybe 6 transports we need, and currently we have 3, so this will get us up to 4 and be one less thing we have to buy later to get that shuck up and running a little bit faster. So that's going to be my purchase. In this case, with the first transport with infantry, I don't like attacking the Solomons because I've got enough coverage. He's got no threat, and I don't want to risk losing a infantry to it. So I've got no attack there really throughout. I got no US over there, so this is not going to be an attack turn for US. Non-combat, I thought about, could I move these ahead a little bit and potentially threaten down here to DEI by having that transport here, but with the 2 infantry 1, I'm really just aiming, I'm going to take Borneo on 3, and then on 4 we'll have these 2 transports come in, and they'll be able to take Philly, and then the one here will be able to go down. So I think I'm just going to go keep them stacking, coming in here. I risk the subs and the fighters and the bombers, so there's no rush on this one. Bomber's going to be nice for helping the hit there. Bring them down just in case I decide I don't want to grab that pearl, because maybe something opens up and I end up going north. It's not unheard of. I've done a shuck up this way with a shuck down this way in the past. So I'm going to leave my options open by bringing the infantry down for this turn at least. And I believe that's it. I don't think I got anything else to do here. So the phase. I'm going to drop everybody in here, and that'll be our end of US. Okay, Russia 3 is going to be pretty straightforward. I got 27 IPC. I'm going to build 9 infantry. Things are going to be starting to heat up. I've already kind of calculated if I move everything in here to West Russia except for 1 unit and I can kill his artillery, I'm going to be allowing a 50-50. So I did look at it. If I sent 2 up here and sent 1 in an artillery, it doesn't look good. It doesn't pan out. So I'm going to go here, try to just kill his 1 artillery for 1 infantry. You know, that trade is basically 2-hitter by doing that. This is going to start getting ugly back on the backside here with Japan. It'd be nice to win this overall because it would take me up to 24 IPC. So there's a bit of luck there. I'll take it. I am going to move 1 here just so he doesn't get a free one. I know that's kind of a debatable. Maybe it's better to let him have the free one, but I just don't like doing it. The interesting thing here, when I was looking at this, you know, he's got Japan here. 1 can go here. 1 can go here. 1 can come up, and if I leave here, that tank can blitz. So he's going to get that spot and there. Basically, this poor guy is kind of doomed. I'm going to leave him back. You know, he's going to die. Maybe he takes someone with him, but yeah, at least he slows the tank down by a spot. And, you know, everything's about speed, timing in this game right now, so. make sure I didn't miss anything here. And yeah, so that's both name. That's going to be it. I'm popping back on real quick, just a summary of this turn. I went over it really fast. I did give him a 50-50 battle on West Russia, literally just 50-50. But the thing that they consider that's with him basically killing off his entire air force and his tanks to do it. I'm willing to do that right now. He would have, his 9 infantry and an artillery and maybe 2 new guys coming in, but yet I've got 9 guys, and what I'm trying to hold out for is one more turn, because I've got 2 fighters here and 2 fighters here that can fly into West Russia next turn, and maybe even hold off that just a little bit longer. So just explain that planning just a little bit more. Okay, here we are on UK3. I'm going to try and speed these up as we get moving along. Just jumping right into Germany's purchase, just a quick review of what he did. He bought all land, again, which is a smarter move to try and get that push. 11 infantry, 2 artilleries. He sat in Belarusia this turn, moved his bomber on in here as well. Again, keeping all his air force here is going to let me continue to just play around on this west coast without having to buy more warships to protect him yet. The one thing I can't do is I can't come up here to the north, because his fighters can still go 1, 2, 3, and 4 and land in 1, and only got 1 transport. So he's protected up there still, but that's okay with what I'm planning. The other note that I would say, I think he listened to my video before I created it. Notice he put 5 people down here in Ukraine. That makes that a much harder trade for Russia to go for. It looks like he's setting up by moving all his land right in here to Poland. Nothing going this way towards Karelia. It looks like he's planning on stacking Ukraine next turn, so I have to decide between West Russia and Caucasus, in which case we'll come down here, we'll go to West Russia, and then I have to decide between these 2 and so forth. So you can see that's where he's heading to, which is going to play a role into what I'm getting ready to do. Purchasing, I'm getting 3 infantry, artillery, I'm going to get a fighter, and I'm also going to get a transport and a destroyer. So the destroyer, because he's got these subs down here, and I just doing the calculation, I just feel comfortable with 1 more boat in the water for UK, in particular a destroyer, just so that UK could do some sub hunting as well as the US doing some sub hunting. I'm going to go ahead and take this, make him have to work for it at this point, as we're starting to get enough people over here. And again, I'm just going to do a 1 infantry take up here northwest Europe, hoping that he uses these guys from France to take them. Oh, yep, almost forgot about this guy over here. Don't want to forget about attacking Burma. Alright. Get through this real quick. We only have the Burma attack. Good deal. Good outcome. I'm going to move him up here and make his Japan have to fight for it just a little bit, just because he's also going to he'd like to get all 3 of these with these 3 infantry, or all 4 counting that guy. So I'm just going to annoy him a little bit again just with these small placements. I am going to move him up. I'm going to move my tanks so that they can still reach over here, but also I am going to start some movement going back this way, so that these guys and my tanks can come back up into here and start working into helping. He could make a move down for India, but they are all still in range where they can just step 1 step back. I'm going to make guys here. I'm going to grab this 1 infantry and move my transport back here to place it so that it looks like I got a decent attack in case he goes ahead and fully attacks there. Whoops. Almost completely forgot. I want to send... I got enough I can keep my one plane, so I'm going to keep my one fighter down here with my destroyer coming in. I've got enough up here to protect that area. By the way, I forgot to mention, he did do a attack on West Russia, so my 2 AA guns are gone. He killed 6 infantry, lost 9 infantry when he did so. So I got the win out of it. Unfortunately, my 2 AAs did not hit any of his airplanes, which is a bummer, but oh well. Double checking, because here I'm trying to rush and I'm going to goof something up. There we go. We're going to move transport on around. We can hit all 3 islands. He's got nothing that can hit my transport. I could have brought him all the way back up to here, but this just gives a little more opportunity. So, like I said, I'm going to put my destroyer here. And I also want to start getting some more ground going down in for UK. That's why I bought some guys. Gonna get that second transport so that we can do a little more headache. Put him here. Now, what I'm going to show you real quick, I'm actually setting up. We got 6 of 10 victory cities, and he's heading towards Ukraine, which means Karelia is not going to be stacked. I'm hoping he moves these guys to take Northwest Europe. So I've got 2 transports here, one for Karelia with fighters and 4 fighters, one for France, and even potentially one sneaking up here to Italy with a infantry artillery, and also that fighter could help if I needed to there. And at the same time, we're going to have US coming in this way. They're going to be sitting on Borneo and here, so we'll be able to actually hit both of these. So all 5 of these victory cities are going to be in threat next turn in round 4. So I'm hoping to maybe VC this out before much further. Okay, start of US round 3. So Japan on round 3, they bought 5 infantry, 2 tanks, and a bomber. Like I said, it's probably the smartest move you can make right now. Just get as much land units as he can with Japan on for the land battle, and I'm kind of letting him as I'm just going to sweep up these islands at the moment. But what it does mean is I'm going to stop building Pacific Navy. Don't need to do it. He did have a bomber, so he's now up to 4 air, but I've got more than enough to block 4 air at the time. So I'm going to have time to set up these industries in the islands before I have to worry about that. Otherwise, as expected, he moved this direction. Again, he took 1 less that he could get, and the guy down here did kill one of his Japan infantry attacking, so a little success back on that side. Alright, so my purchase I already bought. I bought 2 infantry, 2 transports, and 2 destroyers. So the thought is I've already got 2 infantry sitting here unaccounted for, so I'm dropping another transport right here in the Pacific. I'm going to leave them unprotected, actually. Like I said, I need 5 to 6 transports over here for the islands. I've got 4 going, so I'm going to put a 5th one in with the men. And I'm going to send him on down. I mean, he's got the sub, he's got some bombers, but I also got enough coverage that I think I'll be able to cover him. And if worst case scenario, I'll bring him the long route around this way to pick up the DEI. I see. No reason to spend extra money than I need to. The 2 destroyers and 1 transport, I'm going to start helping out here in the Atlantic. Get ready to get these destroyers to come help give a protection for the transports that we're going to keep building in the UK, and then I like to have 2 US transports here that I can do a Africa shuck, because we know once Germany clears Russia, they're coming south for India and Africa. So if I can start getting a few troops down into Africa, that'll make that battle that much better. So again, pre-planning for the next phase of the game already here in round 3. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and hit Borneo. No reason to hold back. We don't want any losses. Now, I will say now, before I even go into the battle, my next step, these transports are coming down here, but they can't reach DEI. This is the only transport that can reach DEI, and I really want to have as much as I can be able to strike into DEI next turn. So I'm really hoping I don't lose any units. Half of me kind of considers taking the bomber as a loss possibly if I do get hit, just so that I have 2 infantry later for there, or the possible sneak attack for the 2 victory cities. We'll see. Make sure that's all my attacks. That is all my attacks. Again, I'm not going to bother attacking the Solomon Islands. He can only get 2 bombers down here versus 4 destroyers. I don't think that's... No. 2 bombers, 4 destroyers. Maybe I will attack it just to be... It'll be better safe than sorry with all these transports. Last thing I want to do is do something silly. So, because this bomber is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be landing right there. So that'll take it to only 1 bomber that could reach. Guys around there. We got the transport picking him up. Bring him on back, what I forgot to do last turn. Two infantry for him to be taken. Alright, and that'll be it. Alright, on to Russia round 4. We got 24 IPC. Go ahead and get 8 infantry for that. I did already take a look at it. I need to have 20 infantry and artillery ending here in order to keep this at a 60% battle in my favor. He's already shown the willingness to take that 50-50, and that was with 2 AAs sitting there. He's probably starting to get a little bit desperate, so I'm going to go with the 60% on my favor and just make sure that I've got those numbers of 20 infantry. So that's going to be 4 from here, make 16. 1 from here is going to be 17. 3 from there, so that gives me 2 to play with. That way. It'd been nice to have just 1 more. I'm gonna go ahead and do it this way. But we will miss out on the income. This guy, I didn't bring him into the battle to do it. There's 2 over there, just so again, I want to slow that tank up, not let him do any extra blitzing into multiple territories for free. I am going to have to leave that one blank for him to walk in with his Russians there. 820, that should give me my units. And I'm going to go ahead and just put all 8 in here. We're going to start trading Caucasus there. Alright, UK 4. And we are going to go for the round 4 victory city snipers. We're going to attempt for it. It's going to be a little bit ballsy, but we're going to go for it. So, you know, I remember I built these 2. Like I said, he's going down to Ukraine, which he did. He left Italy open. He left France open. He's got 1 infantry up here. So I can send the transport here, transport here, transport here. That's going to take me to 9. So of course if I just did that, he'll get the warning, and then he'll just stack up the Philippines, bringing in 4 land units as well as 2 bombers and 2 fighters, and really load on up there, which I want to minimize that. So I also position this guy so he can come in with 2 infantry, a cruiser, and I got this fighter that I'm willing to sacrifice if it lets the UK take the island. That'll take me to 10, which he'll take back, but he won't be able to land his air in there. So we're going to see if that works. It's pretty much a guarantee between these 4 transports and fighters that we'll be able to take it back from him. So here we go. I'm sure this is going to be a little bit of a surprise. In any case, as you can see, he did start to build some tanks, which is smart. He's trying to work on a timing on Moscow. Hopefully that's going to become irrelevant if this all goes as per my plan. I did go ahead and buy another transport, 5 infantry, 2 tanks. If this doesn't work, I'm going to lose 2 UK transports because they're just going to be sitting out there in the open. So I need to get a second one going for here. I'm going to get some more ground units going in here. I got to be careful if I don't take Burma here. That could lead me into trouble with a 2 infantry, 2 fighters, 2 bombers coming at India with just my builds, but we're going to be leaving West Russia, so we'll have some fighters. I think we'll be alright. So, here we go, combat move. I do want to take there. We're going to need everybody to help hold that. I don't really want to send him up here to this battle because either I gotta put my carrier in there, which is going to be easily sunk, or I gotta land him in West Russia, which I'm hoping to abandon. So we're going to trust the 2 and 1 takes care of the job there. Shoot. Alright, we gotta go damage control. Alright, US 4. So I just wanted to show for the record, must take that territory, that 2 infantry with the fighter and the cruiser, sacrifice that fighter against 101. It was an 83% chance to win, and that would have prevented him from being able to fly in any Japan Air Force to prevent the US from retaking it. That said, here we go, we come back, and it turns out he did not reinforce it, as well as this transport's actually got a freebie here as well. So we actually got both these victory cities, and this will be a quick wrap up. 9 and 10, just confirm I'm not doing anything silly. We'll just wrap this up. Hope you guys appreciated it. On the super aggressive approach, using UK to trade with Japan early and aggressively.